Hey there, Heroclix fans. Hello and welcome to episode 38, Validate Your Heroclix. I got the number right this time, Drew.
Yeah.
Right off the top. I'm your host, Hunter Smith. With me this week are the usual Austin Smith.
Yeah, I'm here for once. Hey, guys.
And the man who works more beaver than a Canadian taxidermist, Mr. Drew Alderson.
How we doing?
Today we will have another kind of abbreviated show. We're going to have a main topic talking about OP events and just kind of discussing amongst ourselves our opinions on do we prefer events that are booster focused like at Fear itself or War of the Light coming up, or do we like the competitive build your own type events like No Man's Land and kind of like AVX, or talking about the starter set too, because AVX kind of brought something new with the whole starter system. So we'll kind of be discussing all that, as well as spoiling for you the AVX Month 4 dials, and then going through the news that we had this week too, which there wasn't a whole lot of, but let's get into news first, actually. And let's start by saying, I know Austin's real surprised.
I was totally baffled by
But
this,
there's
guys.
yet another WizKids delay on a set coming out.
I know, guys. I mean, like, this is, like, heartbreaking, and this happens, like, never. I mean, like, in the history of WizKids, I don't think we've ever heard of a delay on one of
Laying on the sarcasm pretty hot and heavy today there, Champ, huh?
So what got delayed, Austin?
Deadpool got delayed for one, and its Fast Forces. Star Trek Attack Wings OP kit got delayed, which a lot of people were pretty PO'd about. I think that's everything, isn't it?
So did the OP kit and the set get delayed for Star Trek, or was it
No,
just...
Star Trek just had an OP kit coming.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So they delayed that. So a
So
lot of people were mad because stores planned specifically around those kits.
Let's see. Deadpool Gravity Feed was supposed to be out... well, it doesn't say when they're supposed to be out, but it will now be out April the 30th. The regular set, the Fast Forces, and the OP kit will now not be out until May 14th. So a full 2 week. You'll have a full 2 weeks before the from the Gravity Feed to the main set, which is what they did with Slosh this time around too. And then Star Trek Attack Wing will be OP kit delay will be delayed until May 28th. That's a long way away from now. As far as official click spoilers, we did have the other Wolverine from Days Future Past. And if you guys remember back, we had a really good Wolverine spoiled, the 130.1. And this is another pretty solid Wolverine. This is one of the more expensive Wolverines I've ever seen, 156 points.
Yeah.
But his dial is pretty good. He has Indom. Other than that, he has standard symbols, no range or anything, of course. Modified his attack and defense +1 for each adjacent opposing characters. Now that's really nice, especially because he has charge
And combat reflexes.
he does in the later dial. He has a
I don't
combat
think he has
reflex
it at the same time, though. Yeah.
Well, his trait that'll be kicking in 24/7. So yeah, there will be times where you'll be getting the trait and you'll be getting reflexes. So yeah, it looks like on those clicks he'll go up to a 19 and then maybe even a 20 on click number 6. Now the cool thing about his dial is if you look, he has 8 clicks. Every even-numbered click has a special movement power. At the beginning of your turn, heal him of 1 damage. And that's not optional either. It just says at the beginning, heal him. So he's got longevity. He has precision strike for the first 3 clicks with a special damage. He actually has no blades for the first 3 clicks. Precision strike and a special damage power when he's adjacent to an opposing character. So there's another thing for him that triggers by being next to each other. When he's adjacent, his powers and abilities cannot be countered or ignored. When he is adjacent to more than one opposing character, lines of fire drawn from opposing characters to Wolverine are blocked. So then you can't even prob, sharpshoot, anything like that whenever he's next to more than one person. So he's going to be your melee / tank almost with having 8 clicks plus healing, and then especially if you can give him some form of steel energy.
Also, I'd like to point out he's the first click I think I've seen in a long time that has a 4 damage blades down the aisle.
He does. Yeah, he does have a click of 4 damage with blades. He, like I said, he alternates between charge and the special healing thing. Then late dial, he loses precision strike for the last 4 clicks, and he gains blades and battle fury. So, pretty solid dial overall. He also has one kind of random click of regen. So, if you hit him onto his 7th or his 8th, he'll have a chance of regen. So, if you hit him on the 8th, he'll heal back to the regen. And then, so, if you can give this guy Anger's Hammer, he's never going to die. Even without it, in a no-resource game, he's never going to die. 156 points is still a lot of points, though. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like, he's good, but he's 8 clicks, 156 points. Has a heal on 4 of his clicks, and only 1 click of regen, and it's not his final click, it's the click before last.
But like I said, he'll heal onto it. And if you think about it, since he is always going to be melee anyways, he has no range, he'll basically always be a 12 attack.
Yeah.
Or even a 13 if he's next to more than one person.
Yeah.
Could be a 14, depending on how ballsy you want to
I
get.
tell you what I really would like, though, and what would make him worth his points in my mind, is give him a special attack power on those first 3 clicks. Give him Precision Strike and Blades.
Yeah.
Don't rob Wolverine of Blades, especially with only having a 3 damage top dial. But pretty much worth his points, but nothing exceptional. I kind of still like the 130-point Wolverine from the same set a little better.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's number 19, so he'll most likely be a rare for this set.
He is.
We'll save that until a little later. Another official spoiler is Cannon Soldier. You want to talk about him, Austin?
Okay, so Cannon Soldier is 95 points. He has 7 range, no combat symbols. He opens with a 10 movement running shot, 10 special attack, 17 toughness, 3 damage. His special attack ability is basically the core of the figure, and it goes down his whole dial. Cannon Shoulder can use telekinesis, but may only place adjacent friendly characters. When it does, its line of fire isn't blocked by the placed characters. And after actions resolve, it may make a ranged combat attack as a free action, with an area of effect targeting all opposing characters adjacent to the placed character. Hit characters are dealt 2 damage. So, he's got a really cool TK where he literally just shoots somebody and they kind of quake when they hit the ground, except without knockback, kind of. I really like that. And then, of course, he can crit and get 3 damage out of it.
That's pretty cool. So
he's an expensive TKer, but that's a cool idea, though, that you can effectively...
TK somebody up, have them Quake Bomb, basically, from there. And then they're still going to get to do something. You know,
and I mean, like, if you have a way to give this guy something like Precision Strike or something, that's even better.
I think he'll be pretty good in Yu-Gi-Oh! Only.
I agree. I think he's a little expensive for non-Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, for non-Yu-Gi-Oh! He's a little bit. 95 points is a whole lot.
I love what these Yu-Gi-Oh! Pieces were always like, hey, he's going to be good in Yu-Gi-Oh! Only. We're going to get to Yu-Gi-Oh! and like every piece is going to be like...
Off topic. So after reading through the Yu-Gi-Oh! Scenario rules, I realized that the morphing jar that makes you place stuff in each other's starting area is ridiculous.
That's why he was so awesome.
I didn't realize, because we didn't know the scenario rules when we spoiled them originally. Oh man, the fact that once you get over there, you can start smashing their life points.
When Drew loaned me the Yu-Gi-Oh! Starter and I was doing the video review for it, and I was reading the scenario rules, and I saw that when they're in your opponent's starting area, you attack directly. I was like, holy shit, morphing jar is so broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It puts you in sudden death.
That hit me as soon as I read it.
Your opponent has to trigger it, though, so...
Let's go ahead and talk about something else while we're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And let's talk about
why
the fact that the rules arbitrators have for now agreed that Spell and Trap from Yu-Gi-Oh! Will not be allowed in official Golden Age WizKids games.
Even though they only work on Yu-Gi-Oh! Symbol figures to begin with.
Yeah, so again, we've talked about Spell and Traps before. If you guys aren't familiar with them, there are some Yu-Gi-Oh! Figures, not all. We've seen, less than five or less so far, that actually has Spell and Traps, including, and then one in the starter set. You can either play the character, and then when he dies, you get to the Spell or Trap, which is basically what you switch clicks the character off, you turn it to a specific click, and then you place the dial face down on the character card, and then they do special effects when certain things happen. Or you can just pay the 5 points or the 8 points or how much the Spell or Trap costs, and you can start it on the card of another figure and then trigger from there. The thing is, though, you can only place spell and traps on other Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters' cards. So you can't take a trap that triggers something broken and then combo it with something else that's a broken figure in Silver Age.
Yeah.
It has to go on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Piece. Also, the spell and traps and their mechanics, how they work in general, spell and traps, that's all on the card. And it's also on the dial. And that's what upsets me about this ruling is they're saying because it's in the scenario, because it's one of the things listed on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Scenario rules, which are in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Starter set, because spell and trap is listed there, that it's only supposed to be for Yu-Gi-Oh! Scenarios. But I argue,
if it's on the card,
the card explains how to use it, then why would it only be intended for use in Yu-Gi-Oh! Scenarios?
And this honestly made me cut back. It made me cut back from a case to a brick. One of the reasons I was picking up a case was because I wanted to get duplicates of a lot of those traps and spells that are at common and uncommon, because they're really good and they're useful and they're fun little things that you can play. And really, all these pieces we talked about from Yu-Gi-Oh! Where we're like, they're a little expensive. Throwing that extra 4-point trap on them because they have that Yu-Gi-Oh! Symbol might make them playable in Silver or Golden Age. And with that change, it's just kind of
Well, I only know, including you, three other people that were planning on Yu-Gi-Oh! And all four of you have said, now with this announcement, I'm either not getting any or have cut in half of what you were going to intentionally get. And WizKids really knows how to shoot themselves in the fucking foot when it comes to selling this stuff. They really do. But I just think that's stupid. I expect that to change. Just like the epic actions. The thing about epic actions, what I was saying though, it's not listed as easily and as obviously as spell and traps are. You're comparing apples to oranges here.
Well, it's on the top of the card, but
what that specific thing does, but the epic action.
Oh yeah, the rules for them, yeah,
is not on the card like it is for spell and trap.
And they didn't designate epic games in the actual rulebook. They designated them in the scenario rules for Lord of the Rings for the longest time. But yeah, epic actions eventually did get turned into normal Silver Golden Age, so we're hopeful.
This is far more obvious that it should be in the game more than epic actions in my mind.
It'd be like saying that you couldn't fuse in a normal game.
What is the difference between me using that and me using a trait? Or me using a special power that you can only tell how it works on my card? It's the same thing. Anyways, let's not get into a big rant about it. Because I'm about to
kill somebody. Good thing Drew's sitting closer to you this time.
Phoenix Buster. So let's spoil the AVX Month 4 kit. And luckily, Phil got a hold of all of this, and Phil and Austin conglomerated to spoil the AVX Month 4 kit on HC.
It was only because Phil couldn't figure out how to post the pictures.
So if you guys saw the dial spoiled on HC Realms for Month 4 AVX, you can thank Austin and Phil.
Thank Phil specifically. I just posted the pictures damaged here.
So we have Dark Phoenix Cyclops. This is the Colossal. This is the prize. He does have Power Cosmic team ability as well as X-Men, so your little X-Men will be able to heal him up. He's got 3-point options, 1,000, 750, 300. He ignores blocking on line of fire.
He destroys it.
He has 2 traits. One of them he won't get if you play him at 300. He can use multi-attack. When he does and makes 2 attacks, the second attack is penetrating. That is
Jesus
sick.
Christ.
Because
Would that work if you used Pinsai for the first one?
That's what I was gonna. Yeah, there's no reason it wouldn't.
Because it just says within it.
Yeah, it just says it deals penetrating damage. That's what I was thinking in my head.
So you could open with a pulse wave and then follow with a freaking blast.
Yeah, for just a regular shot, or follow up with the RCE.
Yeah,
and pump it both in damage, and you're doing penetrating.
Oh, God.
The other trait he'll get on any point value when he KOs another character with an attack. Remove an action token from him after action resolve. That's what's going to make him sick at 1,000 points at Colossal battles. Top dial Hypersonic. Let me pull up the dials too. I thought I already had them pulled up here.
Technical difficulties, everyone. We'll be with you shortly.
This is... Okay, it's not all on the same thing. Hypersonic, running shot, phasing are his movement powers. He has special attack power he gets mid-dial. He can use energy explosion and pulse wave. When he uses pulse wave and there's more than one character in the AoE, his damage value becomes 7 minus his click number at a minimum of 2. So the least he's going to do is 2 to everybody in the pulse wave, which is good enough.
Hey, Hunter, it doesn't say it locks.
What do you mean?
It just says his damage value becomes 7 minus his
Click number minimum?
minimum 2. It doesn't say lock.
They need to clean
That's
that
going to
wording.
be cleaned up.
Yeah, they need to clean that wording up.
So what this means is on top click, he's basically doing a 6 damage pulse wave. Because it'll be -1. So
Correct.
he'll be doing a 6 damage pulse wave to multiple targets.
Yeah, at top click. Well, I don't think he has it at top click. We're going to pull it up here because
No,
he
he
gets
has
precision strike first.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
So they at least use their brains a little bit. And then he gets a special damage power late dial too. When this click is revealed, stop turning the dial. Dark Phoenix cannot use multi-attack. And if he has already taken damage this turn, he can't be dealt damage again. So you can't kill him. Now that doesn't say it can't be ignored. So you could still pulse wave him after that. But other than that, you're not going to be able to kill him very easily all on one turn. It's a stop click that really truly is a stop click.
Oh yeah, it stops the turn.
Dials and cards. Actually, that is all that.
No, the dial was actually posted separately.
I don't see it on here.
Let me dig it up real quick. We need a little theme to play when we're trying to find stuff. Preferably not circus theme.
Oh, got it here. I'm faster than you, son.
I have a phone.
I want to hear your lame excuses. So,
It's
also,
my phone.
as I said on the pulse wave, he has energy explosion. He has 3 bolts 9 range with that. So yeah, it looks like no matter what point value you start him at, except for 300. At 300, he does start with the pulse wave, the special pulse wave energy explosion, and prob control.
Wait. You can pulse wave and then energy explosion off the pulse wave?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
All adjacent people would take 3 from the 3 bolts.
Yep.
And then if they're within the pulse wave, they wouldn't have any kind of...
Correct. They would take
they would
the
be
pulse.
part of the target of the attack, so they wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then anybody adjacent would take
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Driven to change the... Yeah, so we already talked about their 2 traits. As far as damage power, they almost always have either prob or outwit, which is stupid. And then they get that special stop click. And on that special stop click, they have regen as well. So at 1,000 points, you're looking at 6... I say they, it's just Cyclops. 6, 9, 12, 14, 17, 18...
It's 22 clicks.
23 clicks.
Well, the 2x2s are 25 clicks long. 3 KOs would be 22 clicks. You miscounted, son. 6, 8, 14, 17, 20, 23.
23.
Weird. Okay, then they accidentally added a KO click when they wrote it up.
Yeah, 23 clicks.
I'm sorry, Hunter.
That's all right. So 23. I like them at 300, to be honest, and that's one thing I like about Colossals. You're going to lose multi-attack, but you're still going to remove tokens whenever you KO.
You're still a 9-range triple bolt power cosmic X-Men.
With running shot
Yeah.
and doing the special pulse wave that hits that hard, like...
Well, hell, even if you just wanted to do a normal attack for 5 damage with a triple bolt energy explosion.
With prop control and impervious and special, I like it.
I do too. I think he's very playable at all point values. Especially, like, you could throw a 300-point version of him on, like, a Phoenix 5 team, and it'd be great.
Yeah, he does have Phoenix Force keyword, Cosmic, and X-Men.
Yep.
And then we have
GoBot Iron Man.
the ugliest Heroclix. Can we agree to this?
Yeah.
Is there a sculpt that's uglier than this?
I don't know. I've seen some ugly ass.
I
I don't
thought
know,
Iron
though.
Engine was going to be pretty bad,
Okay.
but once I saw it, it was pretty good.
Think about how big the figure, the sculpt is for Phoenix Iron Man, though.
We all
Think of how much detail it could have been.
Is this what it even looks like in the comics?
It is. It's pretty damn blocky in the comics.
Ah.
There's a reason that I never said Phoenix Buster Iron Man was on the list of Iron Man armor suits I wanted to see.
This looks like...
He should have been a 2x2. They should have done a 2x2.
Well, he is a peanut.
I know, they should have just done a 2x2 and given him a little more sculpt.
He looks like, man, this guy's going to be like 2 times bigger than Validus, and he's just going to be knocked all over the place like a bitch.
You could convert him into a Megas XLR clip pretty easily.
Phoenix Buster Iron Man has Armor, Avengers, and Scientist. He's 175 points with Flight, Indom. Let's pull up the rest of this thing here. Dial coded. Flight and Indom and giant size as well. He is 7 clicks long. And he also starts out with Running Shot Pulse Wave. Not a special one, just Running Shot Pulse Wave.
And 5 damage.
And, 5 damage, and then he has special trait. His attacks deal penetrating damage if the character is assigned a relic or resource, or possesses giant size, colossal, power cosmic team ability, cosmic or Phoenix Force keyword, or the word Phoenix in its name as a separate word.
They were trying to cover every single Phoenix ever printed with this thing.
Now that's Phoenix as a separate word, so if you play a character just named Phoenix...
Is there anyone without Phoenix that would get screwed over by this?
No, not really.
Yeah, this piece is pretty good.
I mean, he is going to do it against Giants and...
He's got a 15 range, 5 damage strike that deals penetrating against a good chunk of figures. Giganta's...
Man, I really love this Ellie Thor that I got from Fear Itself. Guess what? I just hit him for 5. And then I'm going to hit him for a 5 again next turn.
Hunter, what's that? The Avengers keyword? What's a nice little, 50, 70 point figure that makes all Avengers stealthed? That'd be pretty easy to do with a peanut base.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, wait. What's that? He can see over her anyway, so you just put her in front, give her perplex.
She shield bumps him.
To 6.
To 6. Perplexes his damage to 7.
And then, of course, he's also armor, so you could use the Extremist Tony Stark to mind control to get multi-shots.
Yeah, I like this guy.
I do too. I love his style. I hate his sculpt.
What? I'm just going to bust this sculpt off. I'm going to get 2 of them. I'm going to break it off, and I'll figure something else out. Because this guy's ugly as shit.
Just glue, Iron Man 3 Tony Stark on like this. So he's shooting a 10-range beam across
He just looks like a fucking failed Transformer.
The clear plastic fire at the bottom actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
If you look at it.
Yeah, it looks so good. It's completely jarring at the fact you have to look at this completely...
And then he has the always useful Avengers team ability.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Especially when you have a 175-point piece on your
especially
team.
when he calls 175.
Now,
we should say the Cyclops looks a little different than
the original
one. I actually like it. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I do kind of like it.
They did a pretty good job with the clear plastic on that one, too.
I, for one, like White Nightwing. Where he's got the big white, raven on his chest.
He looks like Stryker from Avengers Academy.
I thought you were going to say Mortal Kombat. I was going to get really excited.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat clicks.
I don't know, bro.
One of these days.
All right.
Then I can do Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat.
So speaking of AVX, let's use that as a segue into our main topic.
Oh, so sad.
You know who
Stryker
had a
didn't
segue
have
today?
a backwards cap in MK.
Harry had a Segway as an object that he won from the RFC stuff, and he hit people.
I think I have one too. No, I picked the flying cow. So today's main topic is more of just a discussion, really. It's our opinion on pros and cons and what we each individually like in ROP events. So we've seen Infinity Gauntlet and No Man's Land, where each time you show up, you get a piece for your resource. But other than that, it's competitive, and it's just whatever the judge decides to do. Now, most judges would do a cosmic event, or for No Man's Land, we would do, Gotham City events most of the time. But you're free to do whatever you want. Yeah, but you're free to do whatever you want. There's no starter set you have to purchase, like there is for AVX. And there's no boosters that you have to purchase, like you do for Fear Itself and War of the Light, which is coming up. So that's one thing. Then the slight variation on that is AVX, where you have to pay $40 for a starter kit, albeit it will come with a team base at the end. And then other than that, you're going pretty much the
Well, your participation is the stuff that goes on the team.
The No Man's Land, right, and your participation
and your
prizes.
Resource.
And your resource. So it's basically No Man's Land with a starter that you have to, with an extra $40.
With the team base and participation stuff, yeah.
So that's option number 2. And then the last option is the booster route, which we just did with Fear Itself and what we will be doing with War of the Light. So first let's talk about that, then we'll talk about the 4-month versus 6-month. Personally, I like No Man's Land and Infinity Gauntlet better.
Yep.
I guess I do like the booster events too, but it does get a little expensive.
Yeah.
By the end of it, having to buy that many boosters. Now, Fear Itself, we got tired of it, but the good thing about War of the Light is it'll be two
different sets.
The set's way too big, first of all, so it's going to be incredibly hard to collect it.
Yeah, but even with Fear Itself, though, like, I can say, like, I played, like, Heimdall or Iron Fist, at least one of those two, like, every single month. But at the same time, though, my teams are also still constructed pretty differently, and I had different polls every single time.
Yeah.
Which was nice, because it did add some variance. My issue with, well, I guess we'll get into that when we talk about non-booster events, but, like, I like the variance of booster events. Even though it does have a cost, it's also nice and exciting every week to go out there, open your boosters, see what you get. Even if you don't do well, I pulled some cool stuff in boosters. I don't know.
Yeah,
Boosters are my favorite.
I still like the...
And I like sealed way too much.
I do enjoy sealed, I will say that. But I do like the... I like the competitive. I like the AVX do your own build rules thing. The only bad thing is, and we were talking about this today, I don't like how most venues do Avengers only or X-Men only. And I'm guilty of this at my own venue. Because the thing is, with AVX, with ours, we have 4 months. And when I look at the 4 events that I created, they are pretty different from each other as far as build stuff. The problem is, you have to play either Avengers or X-Men. Well, that seems fine, but the thing is, people play at multiple venues, ourselves included. So when we're doing this all the time for us, and then we're doing this all the time for GP, now it's, month 3 now for us, and we're getting really, really burned out on Avengers and burned out on X-Men.
Avengers and X-Men.
So really, I should have opened up the event, the build, what's the word I'm looking for? Limitations, I guess. I should have opened that up a lot earlier than I did. So, thank you. Appreciate that. So I should have opened up the floodgates a little bit more on the limitations. That way people won't get burned out from only playing Avengers or only playing X-Men. Because a lot of people, Austin included, brought up, like, I'm getting so tired of playing against these same AVX pieces. And I am too.
And it's not just the AVX starter pieces either. It's just like, when someone says build an Avengers team, there is a specific list of pieces that are power pieces for Avengers teams. So you know what you go up against every freaking game? At least one of those pieces. And it's the same thing with X-Men. I kind of wish more so, like, this isn't a hit at you or Phil or anyone else around here, but, like, next time we do an OP event, I would like to do... Well, we did one sealed, which I did like, but I would like to see some, like, more comic event kind of things where, like, you take a specific event, from like a sub-event from that event, and try to make us play around it a little more.
Well, like I was saying, the thing is, when I look at our 4 and I look at the build rules, it is pretty different. Like, first one we did starter only. Everything had to be out of your starter. Second one we did hybrid of starter and booster, which is really different. Third one I did a competitive format but with modern, and then the fourth one I did it with Silver Age. But the thing is, that seems very different when you look at just those 4. But then when you throw in GP or other plug in the names here for your local venue out there, podcast listeners. If you're playing at multiple places, if you're lucky enough, because we're sitting here complaining, but we're happy that we have multiple venues to play at, because we know that not everybody does. But the thing is, whenever another place is doing the exact same thing as I'm doing, then it gets to be a problem. So what I have to do is take into account other places and taking those things into account. So that's why on month 4 I've opened ours up a little bit. I've made it any Marvel keyword theme team. It doesn't have to be Avengers or X-Men. So people can bring their whatever the heck they want, their hand teams or whatever, and mix things up a bit. You're not going to play against Magneto from AVX every round because he gets played all the time. So I think that'll open it up. And I just wish I would have opened it up sooner because we are getting burned out.
Yeah.
And like I said, even though your venues things are a little different than each other, when you combine venues together and people play in multiple places, it just gets so old.
And it's like I skipped last week's AVX because I was burned out on it and my scores weren't too well up at Dugout. It's just like I'm so tired of Phoenix 5 characters being set across the table. I'm so tired of Magneto. I'm so tired.
And this is where, the sealed events are good. I mean,
that's why I like the sealed better.
You do get a little bit of, burned out, but War of the Light's going to, fix that.
You get variants on the figures you come across, too.
The only thing I don't like is the way they're allocating product, and I'm kind of worried about it.
But, the other thing I do like about sealed, though, is it's also a great equalizer. Whereas it's not who has what collection or who has what expensive figures or whatever like that. It's straight out. Everyone comes in, they open 2 boosters. There's a little bit of luck factor to what you pull, but at the same time, if the set's built well, like Fear itself was, you could pull a win out of a good team of common figures. I mean, like Valkyrie, Iron Fist, Heimdall was an uncommon. You had a lot of great common figures in that set that people played to get.
Did you just leave out my man Tyr?
Oh yeah, Tyr's like a rare though, isn't he?
I'm gonna kill him, Drew. No, he's uncommon.
Oh, really?
It might even be in the common, actually, now I think about it.
But it's just it's a great equalizer. Everyone comes in and it's all about, it's a bit of, you're building a team on the fly, and it tests your skills of team building, as well as your skills of gameplay, which is what I prefer it for. Because I feel like, even if I'm behind on the months and stuff, I can just come in, chill, open my boosters, and go at it.
Yeah, I do. I honestly do really enjoy the booster events, but the thing was on Fear itself, it was 6 months
after 6 months it got
tiring. It was 6 months at multiple venues with the same exact boosters. I think World of Light being 6, it will also be 6 months, but with the different boosters, and if people seem to get burned out on it, then I'll switch stuff up. Maybe we
do a constructed in the middle.
We do constructed, but you buy boosters, just to support the venue or whatever, but to help pay for the OP kits and stuff. But we'll figure something out. But I do.
3-3 would be perfect. I feel like that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, that's more lenient towards no burnout than it is. I feel like even 4-2 would have been fine.
I like the 4 month compared to the 6 month. I think everybody kind of does.
I'm hit or miss. I like 4 month, but at the same time, I feel like if I have to miss a 4 month event, I feel like I'm ruined. Whereas in a 6 month, there's still a chance for me to come back from that. Whereas in a 4 month, it feels like my mistakes are much heavier and it's less about consistency and more about specific situations.
That's kind of what makes it more fun, though, too, because it's you can, even if you're not that far, but it's month 3, you didn't do well the first 2 events, but you come out and you kick ass and you win month 3. Now all of a sudden you're in the running to actually get a Cyclops.
Yeah, true.
It's kind of like your decisions are weighted more. There's more pressure. I feel like. I mean, that's in my mind that's a good thing, but in your mind it's not, and that's just a preference.
Yeah,
that's just a.
I like consistency where over the course of 6 months, if I play consistently well, as opposed to whether I did terrible or whether I did amazing a few times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to War of the Light. I'm looking forward to, and we will know more about what we like after War of the Light. Because here's the thing: if we still get burnt out on War of the Light, then the answer is I definitely don't like booster events more, because that's my only gripe with Fear Itself is I got so burned out, and I just would rather do competitive stuff. And if we still get burned out on War of the Light, even with 2 different boosters and combining them on the last 2 months and all that stuff, if we still get burned out on that, then there's a problem there.
Yeah. I mean, I love booster events. I'm really excited. I love War of the Light's premise, everything that's in it. And I feel like the 2 booster thing it's a really great way to go about this. As long as they print enough figures for everybody and they get the OP kits in on time, which they've been really screwy about the last 2 events.
They're also allocating, which is horrible, as Drew brought up. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, hopefully, I don't think our venues will have a huge problem here locally for us, but I know that there are a lot of people out there who get screwed whenever things get allocated, so we're thinking about you. We are in our prayers.
You're in our hearts.
You're in our prayers. We hope you don't get screwed by the allocations.
Are we going to get like a bunch of famous singers to sing a nice little charity song in their honor?
Yeah, we can do that.
We can Clicks the world.
Dial H for Heroclix does not make light of real world situations.
Now, as far as Phoenix Force and our resources, do we want to keep seeing resources in our events? Do we expect to keep seeing resources? Because I certainly do.
I think if WizKids locks in the rotation system at every 2 years, and they don't, even if they sped it up, but as long as they don't slow it down past there, and they try to set a good day, like July, where like it's going to start at the beginning of War of the Light, I think I'm fine with it. Because then we will have, 4 resources in? We'll have Belt Power Plant, Phoenix Force, and Book after Infinity Gauntlet rotates out, which will be around when War of Light
Technically,
starts.
you still have Gauntlet or Penguin.
Oh yeah, and Penguin.
And isn't there's something else we're forgetting too? Anyways,
but I mean, like I think 4 resources is a sweet spot. It provides
Batcave.
And Batcave. Yeah. I think the 4 core resources, I should say, is the sweet spot for me. I like having one that's I like having utility belt. I like how like when I'm building my team, there's a good selection from stuff.
Yeah,
to accent.
I don't really think Gauntlet takes that over the edge, though. Is the thing.
Well, Gauntlet.
Well, he's saying because it's going to rotate with Modern, so we want to worry about it. But
I know, but I'm just saying
at
like
5.
I'm just saying like Gauntlet isn't the big hitter anymore. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping power creep kind of dies down a little bit too, because there has been a little bit of that.
I think you expect to keep seeing resources. I think they know that people like them. For the most part, they're fun.
I mean,
it works perfectly for their system of OP kit. Of every month, you're going to get another little piece for your thing.
Yep.
It promotes you to keep coming, so that you get that next piece, and it's not incomplete. I think they continue to do that for as long as they can stretch this out. They're going to milk it for all it's worth. And if you think about it for the mechanics, it's good. It wasn't that great at first, especially pre-watch list.
Because it was just Gauntlet.
Well, I mean, pre-watch list when the belt was even better, and you just had belt or gauntlet, and people didn't want to run those, didn't like how they played or whatever, didn't want to play them with certain figures, like didn't want to play a belt on somebody who's not Batman or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I think it's going to be better. I think you're going to have less people bitching and moaning on forums, oh, I hate resources. Get over it. Accept it as part of the game. Move on. You know, there's going to be how many a year from now? How many resources? There's going to be like 9 resources to choose from in modern age. Find one you like. There's going to be one themed for each character. Oh, I'm playing Batgirl and Nightwing and some other people. Okay, play Utility Belt if you really want to stick to your comic accuracy. If that's your beef,
I'm playing Justice League. I'm going to play the Watchtower.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's going to be something for everything,
and that's what I like. Is I want, and the thing is, the Phoenix Force really brought that out. I think the Phoenix Force has shown that they can build really flavorful resources, too. Like, Gauntlet was kind of flavorful, but it was like just a stat stick where it's just like, oh, you can use some gems and not others. Utility Belt was pretty flavorful for the objects and all that stuff on it, and the attachments. And then Book of Skulls was pretty cool, but the Phoenix Force, I feel like, really captured the idea of, I have 5 Phoenix-powered individuals, and each one that falls, the rest get more powerful. And it's really cool. It's an interesting dial setup the way they did it. And it's a fun game mechanic. And honestly, the Phoenix Force didn't really go over the top like I thought it was going to. I was really afraid of it.
It's still really good.
It's good, but it's not as broken as I thought it would be. And I'm kind of happy. I'm excited to see like what they do with the Green Lantern power battery. Like what mechanics are they going to do with it that are new or interesting that I'm going to want to bring to my teams over like a Book of the Skulls or something else.
All right, so I'm going to step back. Let the man himself, Drew Alderson.
Hi, that's me.
Get into some Drew's Silver Age Corner of Values. What's your topic today, Drew?
Well, Hunter's
Let me get out of the way. Let the man have his microphone while I make this phone call for work.
Austin.
Yeah, buddy. I'm here for you, Trooster.
Who would you say is your most... Who's the most popular arachnid-centered character?
Tarantula.
Tarantula. I will call bullshit.
Really?
And say, it's Spider-Man. No, I know what you're saying. Drew.
Hunter left his chips over here. Sorry, continue.
Austin is now stealing Hunter's chips and queso. Only a bastard would do such a thing, but that's also...
I will be a bastard for free queso. Anyway, continue.
I offered you free queso.
You know, while he's out of the room, we should start the podcast about something else. Let's talk about Mage Knight, Drew.
God, no.
Anyway, let's go on with
Alright, Spider-Man. Anyway. What if I told you, for 50 points, you can have a Spider-Man on a lamppost?
What if I told you for 50 points you can have as many clicks as the 150-point AVX Spider-Man? Or Iron Man. You know how mad I am?
Get off my chips, boy.
I made a comment about leaving your chips behind.
Anyway. We were just talking about everyone's favorite arachnid tarantula.
So have you actually talked about the Spider-Man yet? About the dial?
Spoilers.
Come on, man.
Our piece in the value corner of value this week is Secret Invasion Spider-Man, the common. I think there might be another one in the set. Is there?
Yeah, there's a. No, not. Yeah, not in Secret Invasion.
Okay, so you got your Secret Invasion Spider-Man. Now this son of a bitch is hanging on a light post. Like I said, he's
lovingly known by most people as Lamppost Spidey.
Until they released a chase with Austin is picking up chips from Hunter's lap.
Right, shut up and continue with the piece. I'm eating queso.
Okay, so for 50 points, you get Leap Climb, you get Flurry, and you get Super Senses with a 3 damage. And I know what you're thinking, man, this guy's probably got like a 9 attack value. Nope, 10. You got 10. If only there were some resource that weren't friggin' nuts, Hunter, that you could put like a hammer that gave him charge on.
Well, here's what I like about before AVX. I think this was the best Spider-Man in the game, and he was always my favorite.
Yep.
Few things. He's only 50 points, so he's easy to fit on teams.
As many clicks as AVX.
He has great keywords, doesn't he, Drew?
Yes. Avengers, Fantastic Four, Reporter, that big reporter and scientist.
See, Fantastic Four is kind of sometimes hard to make good theme teams for. And he was always a nice option because he's wild card. That's another thing that really adds to his value. For 50 points, a wild card with these powers is really good. And having those keywords and that cheap point option and the wild card really makes him easy to fit on different teams. And then he has a 6 range, option when you need it, but mostly he's close combat. This guy is annoyance and he's tie-up. And on top of that, when he moves in and he's got super senses, he's got wild card on the mystics or scrolls or whatever to make him super annoying and make him tie up while the rest of your guys are running around. But he also has a 3 damage, which is not bad for a 50-point piece.
Indeed.
And he has a special attack power that's really good, too. He can use Flurry. If he makes 2 successful attacks against the same target using Flurry, instead of dealing damage with the second attack, he can instead give an action token if it had 0 or 1 action tokens. And that's an option. So, in the situation, you can hit for 3, and then hit again and decide, do I want to make them take another 3? Did they suddenly get impervious? Okay, let's give them an action token.
That's sick.
Did they just loot? Did I just hit them and now they're on willpower? Okay, let's do the 3 damage. So it gives you an option of damage or action tokens.
If you didn't buy the Spider-Man booster or the AVX starter, and you're coming back to the game, you weren't a big fan of AVX or something, this is your Spider-Man. This is a very good Spider-Man. And did you mention his deceptively long range?
Yeah, I did. 6 range for a Spidey is nice. He's got the option.
when we started out, if I had $1 for every time you played this damn Spider-Man.
Oh, I played him so I
He
can't.
was so
count.
annoying.
I can't count how many times I've played.
He's
I mean, like, nine movement, leap, climb. It's just like, I'd be sitting there minding my own business, and hubba-dubba-dub, here comes Spider-Man on his freaking lamppost that he drags with him everywhere for some damn reason.
If you want a really nice, finessey Spider-Man, this is your guy.
That's what I was going to say. When you look at his values, he actually doesn't seem that intimidating or that good. But when you play him,
and you try to hit the bastard.
and you play him well, he really is a good piece.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're kind of spoiled by today's standards because Power Creep has made a lot of figures that are as good or better.
Like
than
I
this
said,
guy.
one day I'm going to write an entire article on how we're spoiled by move and attack and just...
But back in the day before everybody had move and attack, this Spidey was really good.
Yeah.
So that's a good choice. I definitely approve Mr. Drew Addison and old lamppost Spidey. Let's do a real quick what we played, since we haven't done what we played for a little while. Wednesday's event was AVX.
I went 0-3, that's all you need to know.
It was 500 points. You had to use one starter, and then again, you had to play either Avengers or you had to play X-Men. We did see a lot of Nick Fury, which I expected to see, and that was cool. We also saw, I was expecting to see a lot of Ant-Man defend teams. I did run into one.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to try Hyperion Prime because I looked at the maps that we were going to be playing on and saw that they changed elevation a lot, both sides. So I picked two pieces that are really good for hitting and running on multiple elevations, and that's AVX Spidey and then Prime Hyperion. So I ran those two, and then two supporters with Victoria Hand and Donald Blake, and then the Phoenix Force. And to have a backup plan for M10 Iron Man, I did not put anything on Hyperion. So if they ran an M10 Iron Man, I could one-shot him quite easily. And now that, if you guys aren't aware, we have super heavies and super lights available to us from the starter kit. So I brought two super heavies for Hyperion and Spider-Man. And boy, that was nice. Having that extra 1 damage. If I had a perplex, I can now definitely throw it on attack instead of
Basically,
damage.
they might as well have just said that every super strength character in the game got +1 damage.
Well, they still have to be more than 100 points.
Oh, they do? Okay,
Yeah.
so that's good at least.
You still have to be 100 points or more. And they can't be TK'd. They take 4 damage to destroy. Yada, yada, yada. But, first game... So, running that piece, the one piece that I didn't want to run up against... I had a plan for M10 Iron Man. I didn't want to go against AVX Scarlet Witch, who could take away Power Cosmic. So, for the match starts, I'm looking around at everybody's teams. I'm like, okay, there's about 4 Scarlet Witch teams here. All 3 of my goddamn opponents had Scarlet Witch. Just
it's okay.
so you know.
Yep, happened to me too.
So, I would tell you how Hyperion Prime plays, but I honestly couldn't tell you since he didn't have willpower on an almost 300-point piece and could be outwitted on a 300-point piece. So I can't really tell you how he plays. He did do pretty well for being
A piece
for
of
not
shit.
having willpower.
A 300-point brick.
Because I did have Donald to heal him up. He does have 11 clicks, which is very nice, but he only has Hypersonic top dial until he gains it again a little later mid dial. But it was nice having that really deep dial and then having Donald Blake.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Spidey. Spidey breaks away automatically, so you can rush Spidey in, get a hit or two in. Austin knows all about that.
I don't want to talk about it.
So that was the game plan. I was like, I'm going to hit this map. I'm going to flip on the white side that nobody wants to play on. And Hyperion and Spidey are just going to run up and down elevations, and people will take forever catching up with them. No, never hit map. Ran into a Scarlet Witch every time. Still almost went undefeated, but last game I went up against an Ant-Man defend ball.
With a War Machine Prime.
And I just couldn't hit it. I just couldn't hit the rolls I needed to hit. And so I went 2-1. Like I said, Nick Fury is pretty cool. Ran up against him first round, and he gets to place the opponent's object.
No
So-
ultra heavy for
So
you, son.
TJ put my ultra heavies over in the corner of the map on his side, and it took me forever to get up to them to get to him. He has a great dial too. That Nick Fury is something
yeah.
else. We
Yeah.
talked about him when we did the review, and we said he was good. He really is great for his points. And another one that we ran into at AVX that Doug got a lot was the Black Widow, and she
I
also
hate her so much.
she's also very good. So
Especially with the new theme team rules.
yeah, both of those pieces are great.
I will note that Wednesday I noticed it the most, though. the number of theme team probs you now get is awesome. Like, really, my team didn't have much prob, and it really got me out of some sticky situations having that those extra probs.
So that got a sticky situation. Austin, what were you running?
I decided to be the ultimate douchebag and run the Professor Xavier that was given out this month. Xavier is ridiculous. We talked about him when he first showed up with his dial and everything, and we knew he was going to be problematic, quote unquote. But he shut down everybody. I ran him, Emma Frost at 100 from AVX, which I love her at 100 points, dude.
She is really good at 100.
Dagger from ASM, which I love that dagger to death, and Dark Phoenix at 100, and M10 Storm, the unpromoted version. And I ran them all with the Phoenix Force with 4 frags. Now, the way I set it up was I gave Professor X the RCE frag, Cyclops' fragment. I gave Dagger Invul with Colossus' fragment. I gave Emma Frost her own with TK. And then I gave Dark Phoenix the TA ones. Now, the reason Dark Phoenix had the TA ones was because she doesn't have X-Men, and I needed to be able to heal her up past that stop click, even 1 click. And that really did come in handy a lot. I annoyed a lot of opponents with that, where they would blast her 1 turn, hit the stop click. Next turn, they'd be ready to go again, and I would have healed her 1, and she was going to hit the stop click again.
What's stupid about that is you heal the rest of the team, too.
Oh, yeah.
Every time that happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, it's if she takes damage while she's on that click.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so she has to technically die.
Gotcha.
I wish. That would have been retarded. Basically, the team plan was to move Xavier up and to inconvenience my opponents in the greatest way possible. And that was anyone within 8 squares, anyone within his range, has to take double power actions instead of power actions. So if their team didn't have much willpower, they had so much trouble getting in on me and getting to where they needed. But it also gave me a huge pacing advantage. And Dark Phoenix feeds off of good pacing advantage. Like, she's just running around at far range, picking off people. They're taking so many tokens to move up and base her or to get near her. And then her clicks she drops on at 100 points are all pretty steady. I mean, she's got good pulse wave clicks. She's got a hypersonic on one of them, which she
with
always
great values. 11, 11, 17, and 4 with
I double
for 100 points.
I X-Mend her up to that click from the stop click one game, and I just kept running up and down elevated and just smacking people while they're taking double power actions to even get up near me. Dagger did a lot of good work too in combo with that stop click, because Dagger can deal 1 penetrating to someone to heal an adjacent character 1. Mm-hmm. So I would pop somebody for 1, because all my opponents put the Colossus Shard back on the Phoenix Force to give everyone invul. So I was glad I had a good team with high damage values and a lot of outwit between Xavier, Dark Phoenix, and whatever I got off of the Phoenix Force. And I would use Dagger to pop them for 1 and just slowly work them down their dial while healing my own pieces back up. Xavier, of course, is making them push when they shouldn't have to. I'm outwitting Indom off their pieces to try to make Xavier more annoying. Was that 15 chips layered at once?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, sorry that was so loud.
He's trying to stealth eat over here. They're just
between Dark Phoenix, Emma Frost, and Dagger, Xavier always had at least 2 mastermind targets. So my opponent would have to hit me with penetrating damage or hit me for more than 4 to even get any damage to Xavier. And that's if he didn't hit his shape change, which I never really pushed him, so he almost always had it. Then Emma Frost did a lot of damage. I kind of kept her back with Xavier, and when they would approach Xavier, I would charge down with her and blast somebody. Because the Phoenix Force gives flying, which she doesn't normally have, which turns her kind of mediocre movement a lot more potent. So, she has her damage... This is where it got people. Her defense power is Imperv, Exploit, Shape Change. And a lot of people see her die and they're like, oh, she has Outwit and a defense power. She probably doesn't have Exploit. Or they just don't think about it at the time, even if they know what it does. And so she would come out of nowhere and smack someone for 3-4 exploit damage. And another thing that I played on, and we talked about a bit today, and I'm sure we'll talk about more when we get into today's games, is choosing whether to leave a shard back on the Phoenix Force is a huge deal, because if you don't, The starting click set of 5 is very powerful. One click in, it gives you ESD +1 attack, Force Blast, and Perplex.
So stupid.
So what I would do is I would target a weak character and get them off the board as fast as possible to try to get on that Perplex, because when you have 4 Perplexers and a little web like that, it's ridiculous. And ESD protected me a lot of times.
And +1 attack. 4 or 5 Perplexers all having +1 attack is just goddamn ridiculous.
It was awesome. And then on top of that, the next click is Sidestep, Outwit, +1 defense. And then past there, clicks 4 and 5 are both invincible clicks. So it was really easy to work my way down dial, to just pick off weaker characters and kind of like pad their top character. You hit them for like 4 or 5 and let them kind of straggle. And while they're like that, you're picking off weaker characters and just turning that dial like mad. And once you hit that final click, like there, it's so hard for an opponent to come back from that. Mm-hmm. When you have Invincible, Pulse Wave, +1 to all combat values, and Prob on 4 characters, it was stupid. If you leave a fragment back, the second click set of 5 isn't bad. It gets a Flurry Blades click and stuff like that. But I just much prefer the top set of 5. It's a lot more usable across the group of characters.
Yeah.
Whereas the second one is way more geared towards melee.
I do too. One thing to add to our AVX advice. Since, as Austin said, most people are going to hang the Colossus shard on the base so everybody gets it, make sure your team has penetrating damage. Make sure you have at least 2 people who have Psychic Blast or Exploit. Make sure you have a couple Outwitters, or you have some really heavy 4 or 5 damage hitters, so that you can consistently get through.
Yeah, it was honestly, there were times where my pieces were like down dial or in bad positions, that it really did start kind of screwing me over a little bit, where I couldn't get through that Colossus shard, or my damage output wasn't as good as I thought it would be. And actually, the Colossus shard caused the biggest problem to my last piece, which was that Storm. That Storm is a monster. I'm just going to say, for her point cost, she is a great piece to just sit back on an object, and she's basically a turret. She's throwing a shot out with RCE. She's like a 10-3 with RCE at like 8 range. She's sitting back and popping people. With the Colossus shard...
With stealth, too.
Yeah, with stealth. So you set her on an object or whatever, and you just use her to pop people.
She's the best point-efficient Storm in the game. When we did our Marvel theme team episode, I put her on the X-Men must-have.
Yeah,
I've played her so many times, and every time she does more damage. My 200-point main attacker, the 59-point Storm, always ends up doing more damage than
and then she has a high chance to promote into one that has Pinsai.
Yeah, and leadership and like all kinds of special stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, she was a great piece. I actually did a lot of damage with her, even with the Colossus shard on. I would basically go either 1-1 or both to attack just to try to get a token on. And she would just sit and pop people. Like, it was a great piece. I'm definitely going to start playing her more. I didn't really think... Like, I knew about her, but I never really thought about her when I'm building my teams. But she's definitely on my radar for future X-Men games.
Trista, you don't want to talk about... You don't have to.
I didn't have a good time.
I went 3-0.
Yeah, of course you did.
I'm sorry, I think about Drew's score made me remember I went 3-0.
Yeah, I went 0-3. Anyway, it was a terrible time. Yeah, it was okay.
It's okay, Drewster. I went 0-3 in the last one.
What'd you run today then, Drew?
So I was getting ready, and I had to go take my car to go get this thing done. So I didn't have a team ready because I was too worried about this. So I was like, alright, I'm just going to pick random pieces and play it. It was an event where we had to confide in a certain set of keywords, so I went with Legion and Doom. And I played the Solomon Grundy from the Fast Forces, Bizarro from Bizarro.
Legend of Bizarro.
Legend of piece of shit Bizarro.
The main set Bizarro.
The absolutely bonkers one.
I just want to say that piece needs to die in a fire already.
We already called it. He's gonna get watch listed. They're gonna fix it where he can't heal because it's not. You shouldn't be able to heal him. He's already stupid enough.
It's dumb.
He's already dominating ROC. I fucking told you this a long time ago. They're gonna watch list him and he won't be able to heal. He's that good.
Main set Black Mana.
It's stupid.
is pretty good. I like main
Yeah,
set.
I like when I was playing against you with him. Like he was really good.
And Giganta, who I never really got a chance to do anything with because everyone went after her first.
I wanted to turn my Phoenix Force. It's not my fault.
She's great. Everyone just hated her, I guess.
She's also an easy target would be in Giant.
Yeah, she's a big old bitch. Anyway, I went 2-1. First 2 rounds were against Austin. I played Austin. It was a close game. I played Jake, which was also a close game. So I had really close games.
Did me, you, Hunter, and Jake like just play each other? It seems like.
Pretty much. Well, because I only got to play 2 rounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and my third game was against Harry, and Harry was playing main set Solomon Grundy and main set Bizarro. And you can imagine how well that went. Not very. He had main set Bizarro with 10 tokens.
Harry, I know you're listening. You're a horrible person.
Solomon Grundy from the main set. And fucking Book of the Skulls. Guess who got Angrier's Hammer?
I don't know, Drew. Who got it on your team?
Actually, either one of those would be
Yes.
retarded with anger saber. So
They're both good choices. But, yeah, it was Bizarro. Guy never dies. And the one time I did die, it was because his guy who never died punched my guy who never died until he died. So, I really don't like that piece, honestly. He's fun to play because you feel like an asshole. You're like, there's no way they can kill me. I'm a fucking dick.
In my game against Drew freaking, I have Black Adam out back there holding the heavy, and I'm like, Bizarro's my only target, and I don't want to hit him with a heavy. It's frustrating.
He's such a piece of shit.
I played, the event was villains, so I made a huge list of keywords. It was like 30 different bad guy kind of keywords, and you had to play theme team of one of them. And I did Gotham City Underworld because I wanted to try mainly because I wanted to try the new Joker from Arkham Origins. And sadly, I had to sit out the first round for a bye. I only got to play two rounds with him.
I only went 3-0.
So I'm kind of bummed because I really wanted to try his trait. He has traded poison. If he has KO'd an opposing character, the poison is penetrating. And then he also has smoke cloud, and when he uses poison, he can use it adjacent to his smoke cloud. So that's what I was trying to do, was kill somebody and then trigger the smoke cloud poison thing. So I was giving him Grathos because he has stealth, and then sitting him above everybody, and then looking down, shooting out smoke cloud wherever it needs to go, or taking a shot, or whatever. Since he had stealth, he didn't really have to worry about it. And that was what I was doing with him. He's a calculator, so he can copy the other team abilities I had. I also ran Joker Sergeant, which is a really fun piece.
I like that piece.
Who has a lot of great team abilities, too. He has Police, Batman Enemy, and Underworld.
Not to mention he's one of the few Underworlds that has Pinsai.
And he's one of the yeah, exactly. That's why I ran him. And also because of his cool trait. Friendly characters that possess Underworld adjacent to him can also use Shape Change and Police.
Ooh.
So he has 3 good things for my main Joker to copy, and he can give other people other stuff. And then I ran Black Mask, who I also wanted to try from Arkham Origins.
Yep.
And then 2 of the SOG False Facers on the poison clicks with them to turn the book faster, because the book doesn't care if the damage from attack. So anytime they dealt poison, they got to spin the book. And also because I needed more people so I could equip double hammers on people. And then I'm forgetting one person. Oh, Selena Kyle. I freaking love Selena Kyle. She was so good. Selena Kyle, okay, when Selena Kyle first came out, I was like, Shape Change and Super Senses, Leap Climb, Indom, Traded Stealth, that's pretty good. Oh, this Steel and Relics thing, that's kind of cool, but who ever plays Relics?
Who plays Relics?
Then the Book of the Skull came out, then the Power Plant came out, and then Phoenix Force came out, and now Selena Kyle is a fucking stud.
Yeah.
Because they're...
Stud?
She's a...
Sexy.
She's
Fox.
a...
Sexy kitty.
She's a filly, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
She's a sexy son bitch. What she is. Batman, Common Prime, Selena Kyle. She starts off with leap climb at 18 super senses and a 3 shape change with Indom. Traded stealth and traded. Give her a free action when she's adjacent to a character with a relic on their character card. You may roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled. If the result is one of the numbers required to pick it up, place that relic on Selena's character card. That's on top of the hammers that I already have given her. She is not limited to rolling once per game. Now these days, we know the rules just changed. Well, it doesn't need to be eroded. It's just she could do it. She's a hipster. She could do this way before everybody else.
She's a hipster.
She did it way before it was cool to roll multiple times per game for a relic. So, first game, I went up and I took Firefly's range combat expert fragment away. And then I was going to go take away the Invul fragment from Deadshot, but I ended up killing him.
Selena Kyle with RCE and 3 range is hilarious to me.
And then, well, it was more about taking the poison away from them. And taking it's more about neutering the other person.
Yeah. Against me, you took Cheetah's fragment.
Against Austin, I did take the Invul fragment, which was awesome because I was having trouble hitting Cheetah, and now it gives Selena Invul for Cheetah to have to deal with. So it was really cool. I loved it. I'm definitely going to play her more, strictly for that, strictly for trying to steal people's hammers and...
She's great.
And power plant rings and Phoenix Force fragments and stuff. And then, especially with Book of Skull, giving her charge. Because if you look at her dial, she has some flurry. And she usually has 3 damage or 2 plus a perplex or flurry blades. So having the charge and the extra attack was really nice. I liked her a lot.
Against the power plant, she's going to be a monster because she freaking... It's a 4 to 6 to pick up those.
Yeah, it's going to be a 50-50. I'll be jacking rings. I'll have free action Smoke Cloud, Matter Rear, Ranger, and all kinds of crazy shit, all on top of whatever else I give her. Her with Split Lip.
Insight Energy Explosion at 3 range.
Giving her, especially if I had Split Lip on my book team with her, where she'll have a +1 when trying to pick those up too. She'll basically always.
I didn't even think about that.
And it's a free action. I can do it at any time. I can charge you, hit you, then roll, and have like a 66% chance to steal your ring. It's really nice. And the cool thing is, even if you kill her and I drop that ring, now you have lost it, and you have to worry about trying to go over and pick it up.
And then if you pick it up, it's a normal relic. It's no longer part of your resources, isn't it?
That I don't know. She creates a lot of stupid rules questions. In fact, there was one it came up today, like, I stole Jake's Phoenix Force fragment. Well, then whenever that character dies, does he still turn his thing for it? Because it says,
the character's
when a character assigned a Phoenix Force fragment. It is assigned to the Phoenix Force, but it's not assigned a fragment. So, do I turn it or do I not? I'll have to
being
look it
assigned it and having it on the card 2 different things?
That's why I'm saying I don't know. So,
to the rules for him.
Well, I let him do it because, like I said, when it's a judge thing and it comes up in my game, I always
that just seems like a really weird question.
Yeah, I always give the other guy that I'm playing against, I
don't know if the rules ARPs are going to know this.
The ruling. So, anyways, I'll be looking that up this week. So that was a fun team. Joker, I don't know that he's quite worth his 140 points because he also doesn't have Indom. The wild card's nice, but the rest of the dial is pretty solid. But I don't think there's better Jokers for the point cost, particularly the Batman Gravity Feed Joker. I still think is one of the better modern age ones we have, number 207. But he was fun. Black Mask is really good if you're going to run Gotham City Underworld or Arkham Asylum or something like that. The false facers are great for their points, and like I said, Selena Kyle was a beast too. Austin was running Society. Who all was on your squad?
It's been a while since I pulled up that Lex Luthor from
D10.
D10. That's what I thought. From D10, he's a good piece. I wanted to try him out tonight, and I love my Society teams. I've played a bunch of good ones in the past, and some of my favorite figures are Society pieces. Now the big problem was this was a 500-point event. And most of the Society figures run like 150 points.
Yeah, they're expensive.
So I went with Lex Luthor at 160 from D10, Black Adam from Superman at 100, and gosh dang it, I forgot. Cheetah Gentleman Ghost and Cheetah.
Cheetah Prime.
Yeah, Cheetah Prime. Now the Cheetah Prime's been one I've been eyeing, and I've really wanted to try out because she looks really good.
She is really good.
Yeah. Well, after I got to play in her today, she was definitely a star player at her points. I ran the Phoenix Force resource on all of them. I gave Lex Ranged Combat Expert. I gave Black Adam all the team abilities. I gave Gentleman Ghost TK. And I gave Cheetah Invul. Cheetah has traded combat reflexes. Giving her Invul as well was a bit ridiculous. My opponents had so many issues hitting her through her shape change and combat reflexes, and then once they did hit her, it was for like 1 damage. And since she has it traded, of course, she has combat reflexes the whole damn dial. I kept it on, of course, since I had all the frags assigned, I was on top dial only, and my goal was to pick off weaker figures once again to try to get rolling. Having 4 perplexes, which I did every single game at least at one point, was ridiculous and gave me so many options with these pieces. Because Lex does the thing where if he teleports half his movement speed, he can shoot. He has the boom tube thing. And then Black Adam is a threat wherever he's at because he can double power action to charge the whole map and blast somebody. That Cheetah can do a full movement and then do a combat action when she ends it. And then Gentleman Ghost himself, of course, was a great outwit piece I could position wherever I needed him, and he himself had poison from the shards. Now, first round, my opponent decided to move a bunch of toys up on my pieces, and they all had poison. So I instantly turned the thing like 3 or 4 times. It was pretty bad. And then, second round was against Drewster. Drewster decided Bizarro with Anger's Hammer would be fun. I murdered his Giganta as fast as possible, and Black Manta. And then Grundy and Bizarro gave me trouble, and Bizarro one by one picked down the rest of my team, even with Mystics negating his healing. It came down to Gentleman Ghost versus Bizarro, and I had freaking Pulse Wave +2 to everything and all this other jazz, and it still wasn't good enough to take him out. So then after going 1-1 and still feeling pretty good because I scored a lot of points against Drew, I thought maybe I could be top of the 2-1s. Wonder who will go up against last round. And then I go up against Hunter. And Hunter's whole team had hammers, so I couldn't poison him. And then the pieces I wanted to kill off to try to advance the dial were really hard to get to because we were playing Realm of Death, and it was just meh. I like the team. I played a lot. Their combat values are kind of lacking in modern age. Black Adam is kind of slipping a little bit. His lack of Indom really hurts him at 100. I definitely don't like him at 100, that's for sure. I'd rather play him at 200 if I'm going to play him, or 300. Lex Luthor's a little expensive at 160, but down dial he's still useful all the way through. That Cheetah is a godsend at her point cost, though. That piece I will definitely be playing again in the future. This isn't the last time I'll be playing her.
Yeah, she was frustrating to play against, man.
And she sets up a lot of threats because when your unit or when your piece can move 11 spaces and then attack, your opponent can't really avoid that. So your opponent has to situationally move everything around and figure out how they're going to prepare for the inevitable attack. And then Gentleman Ghost, of course, awesome as usual. I love that piece. He provides a Mystics to Society teams to calculate her off of, and he himself is a great piece, especially when you give him TK like that. I didn't get a good chance to use it today, really. I only played on one open map. But I definitely, he's one of those pieces that, what's he running, $30, $40, $50?
Who?
Yeah.
Gentleman Ghost.
I'm not sure, but I'd say
a lot of them have dropped.
About 40 probably, if I had to guess. But I'm not sure.
If you really love Society teams and you haven't picked one up, I definitely say gun for one.
Especially because, like you said, having the Mystics with Societies are usually calculators, so having Mystics like that on a Society
and
keyword piece is huge.
He fills a lot of good roles, too. His long-range phasing means I could phase him up, outwit something, and then boom tube Lex and blast somebody, and then run Cheetah up and slash him to pieces. It was a great combo team. I just fell short on some of my roles and some of my placement on stuff, but really like it. I definitely will play Society again, probably with Phoenix Force.
Let's move into Community, where we do have a best build announcement. Best build for April. I'll go ahead and give out the announcement. Now, I did already create a thread for this on Reddit and HG Realm. Some of you guys may have seen them already.
You're going to make them build our AVX Month 4 teams?
No.
I wouldn't be so opposed to that.
The event is Winter Soldier Showdown.
Oh boy.
This is an event that's themed around the Winter Soldier movie coming out this Friday. So we're going to be playing this event on Saturday, April 10th. So the due date is all teams. On April 10th, we will be picking our teams, which will be Thursday. So you need to turn these in pretty much by Wednesday, April 9th. So that gives you 10 or 11 days, so plenty of time to come up with a team. Here are the build rules. 400 points Silver Age. All figures, relics, resources, maps, etc. must be from the Marvel Universe. All figures on your team must fit at least one of these limitations. They either have to have Hydra, S.H.I.E.L.D., or Avengers Initiative TA, so any figure that has one of those team abilities is legal. Any figure that has one of these keywords is legal. Hydra, S.H.I.E.L.D., Avengers, plus Howling Commandos and Spy. Now, I was thinking about this. That'll actually bring in a lot of scrolls, because almost every scroll has a spy keyword. So scrolls will be in this too. And then, on top of that, any figure that's in Captain America Winter Soldier, the set or the starter, is legal, regardless of whether they have the team builder keyword.
Someone better build me a Batroc team of
Batroc's is legal. Winter Soldier also, if you notice on his dials, he doesn't have any of those team abilities or keywords either. So this makes him legal. Some of the other ones. So anything that's in the Winter Soldier set is immediately legal.
Are you allowing the Horde tokens from that set?
Yes.
Okay. Sweet. Give me a good KGB team, guys. Those KGB spies and stuff are awesome.
Those medics are broken. They will see meta. They will see meta play. I can guarantee it right now. But they're only in the minigame, so they're pretty much going to be all print and play because nobody's going to buy that damn minigame. So that's your best build. If you guys aren't familiar with that, you build a team based on those stipulations. All you got to do is tell me what pieces you want, what map you want it played on. Give me a gist of what's the idea behind the team. Oh, he's going to copy this, and him and this figure are going to go do this. Just shoot us an email, dialatureheroclix@gmail.com. If you want to look at all those details again on the build rules I just said, you can go to the Heroclix subreddit, find our thread on there so you can see all this typed out and look at it and plan it, or you can go to HC Realms. And I'll have both of those linked on the podcast description. As far as dial design, we just did week 2. And let me pull it up here. So this is the month that the members who are participating in the dial design this month are actually doing their own scores. So they send them to me. I conglomerate them all, give the average score out for each person, and then we go from there. This is the first time we've ever done that. Most people are okay with it. I have gotten a lot of people say they're enjoying it doing this once, but they definitely don't want to do it all the time. And then we have a couple people saying they love it. They wish we always did it. So even though some people like it, as far as overall, most people have not liked. They prefer us to do their scores and not everybody else.
It's okay. We miss you.
So this will definitely be. This was just kind of a change, switching things up thing. This isn't a permanent thing. Week 1 top scores ended up going to Wolfman Swamp Thing dial, which was really cool, and Battering Sandman dial. And then the week 2 assignment, which is what people did this past week, was design a character that comes with an attachable/detachable relic. Give the powers and descriptions for both the character and the relic. Examples: Emerald Empress, Infinity Gauntlet Runner, Made Spider-Man the Zombie. So we gave that one out.
Aw, I kind of wish we'd have done that one when we were grading, because that sounds like a fun one.
Well, you can still look at the dials.
That's true. But I'm not grading them, and I'm not telling them who's better or not.
Top scores from that were Thor with Yarnborn Axe, which was really that was a great dial.
Sweet.
Proton Torpedoes, who is a new had never entered one before, was in the top 3 with a Hawkman. That was cool. And then Ken the Red's Lobo, which was a really cool figure too, that had the hook thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was second that week. And then the assignment for the week that we just had, I said design a dial that represents. Me and Drew talked about this. I kind of ironed it out. Design a dial that represents a comic-based character during their appearance in a movie or TV show. Along with your submission, list the movie or show it's based on. So this was in me thinking of like doing a power that represents something that happened in the movie, or something like that. Except we've had a very wide array of submissions, like Superman. Kind of figured we'd see him from the Superman movies. We had Swagnito did Bluntman and Chronic from Mallrats, which is awesome. David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury. This I actually found really hilarious. Somebody said they should do a Chris Evans Human Torch that battle promotes into Chris Evans cap. Daredevil, Bluntman. There's Bluntman and Chronic. Arrow from the Arrow show. I definitely knew somebody was going to be doing that. We had a 1960s Batman that didn't get made in the WizKids set. We had Clock King. And we had some other ones. So, you guys, as you guys know, the dials are already past due for that. So, by now, you guys need to be starting to send me scores. You still have until the end of tomorrow, though, to send me those scores. So, by the end of tomorrow, get me your scores. I'll get those up, get the averaged out, and we'll see who our winner for March is. And next week on the podcast, I will announce that. And we'll even talk about your dial for what you did for the last week. We'll announce the winner, talk about your dial, and then we'll go ahead and give April's assignment out. And like I said, we'll be going back to our regular, normal dial design stuff next week. And community question. Pull that up as well. Which Lantern Corps are you most interested in collecting in World of Light? Now, I asked this because now we have the full list of the figures that are going to be in it. Drew and I talked about it last week. Kind of announced announced the big ones that we weren't expecting.
Oh, that's the episode I missed.
Yeah.
I'm very depressed now.
You should listen to it. It's pretty. We say
a lot crap about me.
We say a lot of great and
honest things.
Talking this guy up, weren't we, Drew?
Yeah, we were like, man, Off Smith, what a great guy.
He was the best guy I've ever met in my life.
Bullshit.
Well, you'd be smart to do that. Anyway,
mine's definitely Red Lanterns.
Yeah, I mean.
And I expected everybody else to say Red Lanterns, but actually that's probably the least one that I saw people say.
Me, it's yellow and red are the two I'm main torn. But I'm excited for orange, blue, and black as well.
I'm really excited for all the White Lanterns.
Yeah.
White Lantern Swamp Thing.
I know. Trust me, if you would have been here, you would have known.
Yes, God, we were so freaking hyped when we saw that. Because that was the first time I had seen it.
Oh, you didn't know it was on? Oh,
when
man.
I saw it, I was just like...
Now I'm really sad
I was like speechless for a minute. It took me a minute took a minute for it to hit me. I was like, wait.
Hunter's like, well, I'm going to have to sell my body.
So yeah, I like the Red Lanterns a lot. I'm enjoying that book. And the characters are hilarious. And also Ratchet and all our favorite freaking Red Lanterns are going to be in the set, so that's awesome. And yellow too. But I like how many figures they put in there, just because they're all like
they knocked out every major.
They did need to be done. It's going to be such a bitch collecting those. This is going to be so expensive if you want all those. Gosh.
There was one thing though that I'm kind of sad I missed last week, just because I would have brought up, was there is discussion about the fact that in Slosh, it seems that you get a common and uncommon prime in each brick.
Correct.
People are wondering if that's going to carry over to War of the Light, since they're going to have multiple primes.
Hopefully the distribution is not something... Hopefully be nice, WizKids. You're already bleeding.
For once.
You're bleeding us really bad on these sets. At least make the rarity schemes not that difficult to obtain.
The fact you're even putting multiple primes in here.
Meanwhile, Justin's here and swimming naked in a giant pile.
There better be like 2 primes and a brick. Seriously, if that's minimum. There better be at least
for there being that many primes.
Yeah, if there's going to be this many primes, and
not to mention you're throwing chases out there, you unfair bastards.
This is ridiculous.
At least the chases aren't ones that, although I kind of want them, they're not ones I feel like I have to own most of them.
It's still a chase rarity. It's still going to be worth a lot of money, and it's going to be worth a lot more money considering...
Drew, this is me in an OP event opening boosters.
I know, and I'm going to be really upset.
When I pull a chase every week.
Yeah.
I knew Austin was going to say his favorite OP event was going to be the sealed events. And
hey, look, another super rare. Why don't I just throw this one in the trash?
Look, what's this ASM? I pulled a Chase. Oh, Fear Itself pulled an SR. Oh, hey, look, Wolverine the X-Men a Chase. Oh, Fear Itself an SR.
Remember that day? It was Fear Itself, and I still had not pulled a fucking super rare. And it was like, I was on like booster 14 or 15 at that point, and I opened both my boosters. It was Fear Itself and Wolverine. I opened both of them. I got the best thing I got in the Wolverine was just a regular rare, and I got nothing higher than a rare in the Fear Itself. I was like, well, there goes fucking $20 wasted. Austin pops the super rare from his Fear Itself booster in a fucking Chase from Emma.
I pulled it was Emma.
From his fucking Wolverine booster.
And then I pulled an Anger and Emma, yeah.
It's like, I'm going to stab this guy in the fucking
And the whole way home you were silent and wouldn't talk to me. Like it was my fault.
I was so frustrated. It
was beautiful.
It defied math. That I was not pulling a super.
I like to believe that maybe I wasn't supposed to be born, but I pulled all the luck from everyone in my family so I would be, and bypass all of it.
You're terrible.
So my entire life I've had their luck.
Alright, that's going to do it for us today. As I said, you have 10 days to get those best build teams to us. Send them to our email, dial@Heroclix@gmail.com. You guys can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Same thing, dial@Heroclix. That's where we post community questions so everybody can chime in. Sometimes we kind of sit and discuss things on there with you guys and with each other. And you guys can also send us PMs. Ask us questions you want brought up on the show. Sometimes people send me rules questions and stuff like that too. That's perfectly fine. I'll help you as much as I can. And so send us any questions, anything you want to promote it, as long as it's an event, not like selling something, but any events you want promoted that are, especially if they're nearby us, let us know. Send us a PM or something.
Send us compliments.
Yep. So the same thing you want.
That Hunter guy sure is sexy through the podcast.
Yeah. Well, that's common knowledge at this point. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got that Instagram. I see pictures of sexy Drew Alderson.
Yes. You can find my pictures on Instagram.
We'll see you guys next week.
The saucy ones for website registration.
You got to click the 18 and older banner before you get through to those pictures.
Dial H VIP.
Later.
Submit your credit card information now.